It is 5:32 on Wednesday, June 8th, 2026. We're going to call the meeting of the Sparks Civil Service Commission to order. Madam Clerk, would you please do a roll call? Present.
Douglas Stark.
Present.
Elise Monroy Marcella.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Item 3 is public comment. Madam Clerk, do we have anybody wishing to make public comment?
None at this time.
Thank you. Item 4 is the approval of the agenda, which is for possible action. Looking at an approval for today's agenda.
I can move to approve.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. With that, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimously. Item 5 is approval of minutes. This is for possible action. We have consideration and possible approval of the minutes of the Sparks Civil Service Commission meeting from April 8th, 2026. Are there any comments on the minutes? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from April 8th, 2026?
I wasn't in attendance. Can I so move?
I believe so. I think it's, as a sitting commissioner, you're approving that the minutes were accurate.
So moved.
Thank you.
And I can second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
There was no little, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm doing it on my end. It's, my computer is having a bit of a lag, so I'm listening.
Okay.
I hope you guys-
Beautiful.
As long as you
Okay.
got it, we're good.
With that, the motion carries unanimously. Item 6 is announcements, presentations, recognition items, reports, and items for special interest. No action will be taken. Item 6.1 is the report concerning the City of Sparks Civil Service employee actions from March 2026 through May of 2026. Presentation by Shauna.
Good evening, Commission members. Item 6.1, let me go to that, is one of our standard reports that we provide to the Commission on a quarterly basis. This item shows the different employee actions that occurred within the quarter. Employee actions involve new hires or rehires. Anytime anybody completes probation, and employment in terms of resignation, retirement, or termination, or a position change such as a promotion, reclass, or a series classification. Employee actions for the last quarter are on the screen. We had actions from community services, police, and fire, and all of the details regarding these have been provided in the confidential packet. Do you have any questions about those?
For the commission, any questions on this?
No questions from me.
Okay.
With that, we'll move to item 6.2, which is the report concerning the City of Sparks recruitment advertising for vacant city positions from April 2026 through June of 2026.
All right.
Ms. Halterman, back to you.
Thank you. Item 6.2 is a summary of advertising for vacant city positions within the last quarter. We had a total of 7 postings for the police department, 1 for fire, 2 for community services, and 2 for Truckee Meadows Water Reclamation Facility. The emergency communications dispatcher and police officer positions remain open today, and I can answer any questions that you have about those.
I just have a question on the reporting date. So for item 6.1, it was March through May, and then for this item, it's April through June.
A good question.
Board Clerk, for the record, I can answer that. So the way we report our employee actions, it's part of what we do to close out a pay period. And because that's on a little bit of a delay, it made the most sense to cut it off right at May. It was like a very clean cut with the way our payroll calendar worked.
Okay.
So at the October meeting, when you're board clerks and we present the employee actions at that meeting, it will start for the full month of June.
Thank you.
Thanks, Casey.
That is it. Any questions from the commission?
No, thank you.
Hearing none, we'll move on to item 6.3, a report concerning the City of Sparks Civil Service candidate testing completed from April 2026 through June of 2026.
All right, item 6.3, reports on candidate testing. For some of the positions previously mentioned in item 6.2, when we recruit for a civil service position, we provide an examination opportunity, which allows candidates to test and be placed on the eligibility list to be considered for the vacant position. In the last quarter, staff has been very busy. You can see the number of positions up there. We've done police officer recruit, police officer post, emergency communications dispatcher recruit, emergency communications dispatcher supervisor, property evidence technician, property evidence supervisor, fire apparatus operator, crew supervisor, equipment mechanic, and wastewater plant operator 1, 2. The numbers here show those who were invited to test, and it reflects candidates who meet the minimum qualifications and were invited to participate in the civil service exam. This number does not reflect the total number of applications received. It's just those people that met the minimum quals and were moved forward. Passed and completed. Those categories are certain civil service positions such as police officer, recruiter, lateral may require multiple stages of the civil service exam. For instance, a physical and then a written, and there are many steps involved. The numbers provided for completed means the candidates have completed and passed the first stage of the civil service exam, but have not completed the civil service exam in its entirety. Those reflected in the pass mean they have passed all stages of the civil service exam. Not yet tested is data specific to police and emergency communications dispatching candidates, as they have 365 days from the date of application to complete the testing in order to move forward. Not yet tested numbers do not include police officer candidates who have been invited but have not yet completed part 1 of the civil service exam, as they also have 365 days in which to do so. And there are 2 pages of these I can show you. So we have police officer, recruit lateral, the physical exam, the written exam, emergency communications dispatcher and supervisor, property evidence tech and supervisor. Some of these were internal, like the 2 supervisor ones. That's why there's fewer numbers for the invited to test and passed. Then we have fire apparatus operator. Again, that's an internal recruitment. Crew supervisor was internal. Wastewater plant operator 1, 2, and equipment mechanic were external. Any questions on those?
Question.
Yeah.
I noticed under, I think it was 6.1, there were 4 police officer retirements in the period March to May.
Mm-hmm.
Have they been filled?
We fill as academies open, so they usually have 2 to 3 academies. We just graduated, I want to say 5 or 6 in the last academy, so then they start, and now we're prepping for the next group. We are cycling them through as fast as we can because we do anticipate some more retirements. There were a lot of people that kind of started about the same time, and they're hitting that 20-year mark. So, we had 4 leave. We did a few promotions. When people leave, they kind of leave some positions. And then we did just start some new ones about, a week ago? 2 weeks ago? Yep.
I think I know the answer to this, but those that don't show up,
Yes.
do you guys reach out to them or do you just let it go as the honor system they chose not to show up for whatever reason?
Yeah, if they don't show up, they don't pass the test. So, yeah, they can reapply in 365 days.
Okay.
Or for another position
Thank you.
sooner. Any other questions?
questions?
Nope.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. We will move to item 7, which is our general business. 7.1 is consideration, discussion, and possible approval of Steve Besso's request to be placed on the police officer assistant reemployment list in accordance with civil service regulation 9, Section 4, reemployment. This is for possible action.
Thank you. Item 7.1 is a request by a previous employee, Stevie Besso, to be placed on a police office assistant reemployment list per Civil Service Regulation 9, Section 4, reemployment. An individual who has resigned in good standing from a classified position may request to be placed on a reemployment list. With that, I can answer any questions.
What's the reemployment list mean?
It means that if there is another position available, that this person would be on a list and they wouldn't have to do the whole retesting of everything.
Why would anybody not request that?
Sometimes they're moving out of state. They have to be in good standing also. If they left not in good standing, they might not request that. But sometimes they're leaving to go out of state. They just know they're not going to be coming back to the area.
Great question. Any other questions?
None from me.
If not, I am interested in entertaining a motion.
I can make the motion.
Thank you.
I move to approve Stevie Besso's request to be placed on the police office assistant reemployment list in accordance with Civil Service Regulation 9, Section 4, reemployment.
I will second the motion. With that, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimously. Item 7.2 is consideration and discussion and possible approval of Michael Bartelheim's request to be placed on the police officer reemployment list in accordance with Civil Service Regulation 9, Section 4, reemployment. This again is for possible action.
This item is similar to the previous item. It is a request made by a previous employee, Michael Bartelheim, to be placed on police officer reemployment list per Civil Service Regulation 9, Section 4, reemployment. An individual who has resigned in good standing from a classified position may request to be placed on a reemployment list. Any questions for that one?
No.
With that, I am interested in entertaining a motion.
I move to approve Michael Bartelheim's request to be placed on the police officer reemployment list in accordance with Civil Service Regulation 9, Section 4, reemployment.
And I will second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimously. Item 7.3 is consideration, discussion, and possible approval to remove names from the firefighter recruit eligibility list in accordance with Civil Service Regulation 4, examinations and eligibility list, Section 13, removal of names from eligibility list. This is for possible action. Shauna.
Okay, this request is to remove names from the eligibility list. These generally occur after a job has been posted, candidates have tested and interviewed, and they have either decided not to move forward or have failed some part of the background or were no longer interested. Those are the reasons why we would remove names from an eligibility list. And this is requesting that we move names from a firefighter eligibility list for those three reasons.
Question for this specific listing, did we exhaust all of the extended options of extending the posting?
I'm not sure what you mean.
I believe in the past, we've been asked to extend the
Oh,
list.
to extend lists.
And have we done that with this
On this
specific?
particular list, I don't know.
Okay.
Do you know if we have extended that list in the past? Firefighters are good for 2 years anyhow.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they're all automatically 2-year lists, unlike the others that are a year, and then you can add 2 6-month extensions. But these are generally people who send us an email saying, I'm not interested after all, or they failed the test.
Okay.
And that's why we're removing them from the list.
Awesome.
Even
Thank
if the list remains active, just they're not on it anymore.
Okay.
Chair, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Elise Monroy for the record. So, okay, so I understand that people are removed from the list if they write us an email and say, I'm not interested, love you, bye. Or if they say, or if they fail the test. But does the fact that they become removed from our eligibility list, like if they went to, let's say, Utah and applied for a job with the fire department there, would someone in Utah see that they're ineligible from our list, and would that impact their employment? They're just ineligible for our list here.
No, we don't share candidate information.
Okay.
However, there is sort of an exception. So police officers, when they are applying someplace else, they'll send us a request and the candidate for that agency will authorize this. And they'll ask us, did they apply? Did they pass? You know, so we don't give them a ton of details, but we will give them that basic information. And that's really only police that ever requests that. But there's no coordination between agencies otherwise where we say, no, we took them off the list and here's why. That information is in our confidential packet too, because it's just not something that we share.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Great question. Any other questions? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I can move if I can get back there. I clicked out of it. Okay. I move to approve the removal of names from the firefighter recruit eligibility list as outlined in the confidential candidate section letters and in accordance with Civil Service Regulation 4, examinations and eligibility list, Section 13, removal of names from eligibility list.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimously. Item 7.4 is consideration, discussion, and possible approval to make an exception to the Civil Service Regulation 3, Section 2, nepotism, to allow the potential hire of a wastewater plant operator 1/2 at the Truckee Meadows Water Reclamation Facility, where their brother is currently employed as a wastewater plant operator 2. This is for possible action.
Okay. And I just realized I never said who I am for the record, not once. Shauna Halterman, I'm the HR director for the record. This item is to request to approve an exception to the Civil Service Regulation 3, Section 2 on nepotism to allow the potential hire of a wastewater plant operator 1/2 at the Truckee Meadows Water Reclamation Facility, also known as TUMWRF, where their brother is currently employed as a wastewater plant operator 2. Both would report to different supervisors and neither would be in a position of supervising, reviewing performance, or giving work direction to the other. Any questions on that?
I just want to make note that the director of the wastewater reclamation facility is in support of this.
Yes.
I just want to make
Yeah.
that known because it's on our document, right? I believe. That's what I read.
I don't know if it's on there,
Yes.
but he is in support of it.
Okay,
The candidate has gone through the interview process and is in background right now, so.
Casey, the director's at office.
okay. Thank you.
Is, is this a difficult to fill position, so to speak?
We had a lot of candidates apply. It's an entry-level position. I wouldn't necessarily say it's difficult to fill. It's probably difficult to retain. It is a position that requires working 24 hours a day, 365, and that's not always work that everybody loves to do. So, yeah. It's difficult to retain, but not necessarily hard to fill initially.
Great question. Any other questions?
I think I have two questions on this one. So, can you explain the process of like the hiring and then when things come to us. My question is this person's start date delayed because of our quarterly meeting?
In this particular case, no. Could it be? It could. Or we could host a special meeting. We just found out, we did the interviews this last week on this and found out that this person was one of the chosen candidates and stuck it in at the last minute. So we were
Okay.
good on this time. If it had been 2 weeks from now, we
Yeah.
would have probably asked to hold a special meeting just to approve this.
Okay, okay,
Would you
cool.
agree?
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Okay.
that's what they've done in the past. We haven't had to
Okay.
do it recently. The last time they do it was 2023, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, we would call a special
Okay.
meeting, later on down the line once they pass background.
Okay, helpful. So good to know, because I'm not a lawyer. I don't see how this meets the reg of nepotism, like if that's what's written here, and I haven't looked at the reg. So my concern was that because if they're not reporting to the same supervisor or in the same line of like supervision, I don't see, based on what's here, I don't see how this meets the requirement of what we would need to decide for on reg. So I was concerned that possibly we're just being out of a good governance, abundance of caution, putting it on the agenda, and then their employment was delayed. But I'm glad that's not the case.
As
Yeah.
the civil service regulations are written now,
Mhm.
it says they can't work together in a department at all without this board's approval.
Okay,
Could that be revised maybe in the future? Perhaps. But if they were in direct
Yeah,
line,
okay.
that wouldn't happen at all. That would not be allowed even with your approval.
Mhm.
But the fact that they work in the same department
Okay,
needed approval.
okay.
Historically, when this has come before us, we've been told that conversations were had with both parties, letting them know. Has this been the case with these two individuals, that if one promotes the other, or what that looks like? Or does that happen if that situation comes up?
That would happen when that situation comes up. That is also spelled out, I believe, in both the admin rules and the civil service rules, that somebody's gonna have to make a choice if you want to promote in this position, because you can't oversee a family
Mhm.
member, within those degrees of relations.
I think to Casey's point, our last one was actually the former police chief's son
Oh,
that we had to review, and he was retiring, so it was
right.
nonsensical, but
Yeah.
in that sense.
I'm glad to hear there's a process for holding a special meeting, so
Yeah.
employment's not delayed. That's good.
Yeah, and this just, the timing worked out well.
Yeah.
We put it in there thinking we could always pull it at the last
Sure.
minute,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he made
for
it through
sure.
the process, so.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, with that, I will entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve to make an exception to Civil Service Regulation 3, Section 2, nepotism, to allow the potential hire of a wastewater plant operator 1/2 at the Truckee Meadows Water Reclamation Facility, TMWRF, where their brother is currently employed as a wastewater plant operator 2.
I have a motion, and I will second the motion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries unanimously. This is the one I've lost sleep over because I am going to butcher a name, so I apologize ahead of time. 7.5 is consideration, discussion, and possible approval of a seniority lot draw for Benjamin Bowers, Charles Brown, Cole Hamlin, Hector Jimenez Estupiñán, and Austin Paulus, hired on June 29th, 2026, the position of police recruit with the police department. This is for possible action. Shauna.
Great. Item 7.5 is, again, one of our standard processes when we have multiple hires that are hired into the same position on the same day. This item is to request to draw names to determine seniority. These are the 5 police officers we were talking about just a little while ago that just started last week.
And for a point of clarity, they were hired at the beginning of the academy, and then does their job title change?
They're brought in as recruits when they're starting the academy, and then they flip to police officers.
Okay.
Wait a minute,
Is that like
At
a
what
year
point?
probation?
after a year? Or upon completion of the academy?
So they come in as recruits, they go through the academy. Once they graduate academy, they become police officers. And then once they become police officers, that starts their 1-year probation.
As a police officer.
So these
yes.
5, are they the current academy attendees or are they the ones that just graduated?
These are the ones that are starting the academy.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. That's it. Any other questions? Okay,
Who wants to call?
not I.
These are my favorite.
I think I've done it the last 2 times, but I'll do it again. All right. Charles Brown, not Charlie Brown, Charles Brown. I'm gonna start bringing a nice letter opener.
Put it in the drawer.
Yeah. Austin Wallace. Benjamin Bowers. Hector Jimenez Estupanian. And our last poll is Cole Hamlin.
Thank you. I will take that in the form of a motion. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Thank you. With that, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, nay? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Item 8, announcements from staff and commissioners. Are there any announcements from the staff or commission?
The only thing I have is that Elise completed her oath of office just before our meeting.
Yep.
Welcome back. Thanks for another term.
Congratulations.
We
Happy
still
to
have one
serve a full
vacancy,
term.
if you know of anybody that would like to join us. There was a question, I believe that you had asked at the last meeting about presentations by department heads. So I did a little research on this, and there was a time a few years ago that the department heads went to every single commission, committee, and did presentations. Right now, with the many vacancies that we have in our department head crew, there's no plans to do that right now. We just had 2 retirements in the last week.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what that came from, was years ago. I guess they were going to every single commission.
And I think we serve at the pleasure of the council, so if they want us to have them, they'll send them. But I can respect that the position you're in.
Yeah, it's kind of busy.
Thank you. Any other announcements from staff or commission? Okay, we will move to item 9, public comment. Madam Clerk, do we have anybody wishing to make public comment? Question around public comment. Since we're streaming, do people have the ability to like chime in, ding, Zoom, or is it more of a one-way dialogue?
Public comment is a one-way dialogue, so it's not a place for whoever's on the dais to engage in discussion. People can either come to the meeting and do it in real time, or they can email us beforehand. We give a deadline. I believe we give them until noon, the business day before the meeting. And then if we ever get any of those, they would be presented to you and added to the agenda once it's posted.
Okay, thank you. Okay, with that, it is record time, 6:01, and we will adjourn the meeting.